How y'all doing today? My name is Robert A. Rivers. I am the main attorney at the law offices of Robert A. Rivers, LLC, personal injury attorneys. And today I'm presenting this video to talk about some of the issues that people deal with when they are hurt or involved in an accident. And today's main focus is really on not giving up, um, making sure that you do your due diligence, you and your attorney do your due diligence, and just really never quitting and believing that there's an opportunity for you to be compensated to the fullest extent and made whole for the injuries that you might have sustained or that you now have to live with as a result of some kind of an accident. And it's really in the spirit of never quitting. It's the human spirit of never quitting when there's some sort of injustice and you find yourself in a situation where you're really facing what seems to be insurmountable odds. Just the feeling that you just can't accomplish what you need to or get where you need to go because you feel like you just can't find the final resolution that's necessary, which in personal injury is obviously, you're trying to get the most compensation for the injuries that somebody has caused you. And when you look at current events, for example, you don't have to look far to find situations where the spirit has really taken over and people just don't quit. For example, the Fox video that recently was on television and the internet with the caravan of the people down in South America. I mean, there's just this huge line of caravan of people coming together with an extraordinary circumstance, finding their way through South America, trying to get into Mexico, and then ultimately find their way through Mexico and to try to cross the border into the United States with a lot of the issues that are going on in our diplomatic situation. That just seems incredible that these people, they just don't want to give up. The spirit of the human in that scenario trying to get here to the United States is amazing. And so we look at that kind of spirit, and I encourage people to have that kind of spirit and to really believe in not quitting, and making sure that they are engaged with a really good attorney that's going to take the time to do the due diligence, investigate the case, and make sure that they're getting the most that they can get. And there's a couple of cases I'd like to bring to point, recent cases that my firm has handled and has dealt with. Some of them are still ongoing, so I certainly am not going to talk about the names or anything like that for attorney-client privilege reasons and other reasons. But one of those cases, the client came to me and we sat and we chatted for a while, and they really did not anticipate having to hire me. They just really, on a whim, were wanting to talk to me about the case. And of course, I engaged the conversation with them as well, and we discussed the case. And they really believed there was no chance that they were going to get any kind of settlement. There was a large amount of medical bills, phenomenal amount of medical bills. This is a wrongful death case, and the heirs were the parties that were involved that I was dealing with. And they had just told me they had given up. They had spoken to other attorneys. Other attorneys had told them, move on. You can do this on your own. The case isn't worth it. And I encouraged them to not believe that and to have faith and have spirit and to not quit when they knew that the person they had lost, it wasn't that person's fault. That clearly that somebody else was responsible. In any event, they did obtain me, and I did my due diligence, and I continued the fight in the case. And ultimately, I got the maximum amount of settlement in that case for the client. And they just did not expect that. And it was very rewarding to me. And even now, I get kind of goosebumps thinking about when I was able to sit down with them and tell them what they were getting and hand over the check to them, and to watch the smile, to watch them cry. It was a little bit of Aaron Brockovich, if you will, in that I was able to give them something very special, particularly since they had felt like they had quit, and I encouraged them to not give up. Another case that I am involved in is a product liability case, and the case came to me as a medical malpractice case, and in reviewing the case, it seemed like a difficult case. And the case went on for a while. The medical records were being reviewed, and something just kept telling me, based on all the medical records that I had reviewed and dealing with the client, we had a great relationship, during the time that I was reviewing the records, that something else was going on. So I did a lot of my own research in terms of the kind of product that was used in his case. And after doing my research, I encouraged him to get a blood test done to seek a certain result for certain kinds of contaminants. And for a long time, he just thought it was no big deal, kind of blew it off. And I just didn't quit. And I encouraged him and encouraged him and encouraged him to get the blood work done. And he ended up getting the blood work done. And to his shock, he had found out that he had been poisoned. The product had contaminated him. And that's a case that we still have a way to go on, but it shows that my determination as the attorney and taking a personal interest in my client may very well have saved my client's life. In fact, those were his words to me. "Oh my God, Robert, if you hadn't told me about this, I would never have known. The doctors never told me. You pushed me, and you may have saved my life." Now, that was very, very rewarding to know that I had that kind of impact on my client, that I was able to put him in a position where he might be able to live a longer life because I took the time to do my due diligence, to have the spirit to not quit, to trek and voyage that distance that nobody believes I can go when I believe I can do it, and I did it. And I think that case is going to be an excellent example of our topic today. So I would just like to say that Law Office of Robert A. Rivers, I take very personal interest in my clients. I don't give up. I do my due diligence. And remember, Law Office of Robert A. Rivers delivers. Thank you and have a great day.